So this is the Lionheart 016.5 Manning Wardle from the Lynton and Barnstaple Railway. It's a 262 locomotive, and Lionheart have really pulled out an absolute stonker here. The detail is superb. You've got a lot of metal in the model, and it shows the side tanks are metal. It just gives it a weight and a presence. It got the removable cab, which is held on with magnets. It does locate over the safety valve, so just drop it through like that. You've got working joy valve gear, which is very unusual when you're expecting valve shirts. You see the gear going up and down inside there. The firebox glow, and that comes on at really low speed. I should mention it is just a spectacular mechanism. I've got it on an ancient Hamlin Morgan. Let's just get it up and crawling. See the lights already come on. A little bit more to get the firebox glow. But incredible running. Everything's smooth, the valve gear all seems quite solid as well. Big chunky castings for all the rodding, all metal. So yeah, it's been a really impressive model. There are 6 versions of it, so what they've tried to do is cover all the periods of operation of the railway. And it's one of these railways that has entered folklore almost, I think, possibly because it closed so long ago. It has a greater mythos. Maybe it's the connection with holidays, maybe it's the unusual size of the rolling stock. And just the look of it, it's slightly American. Very unusual for British steam. So I've put the locomotive on its side just to show the mechanism. You've got couplers, and the coaches I believe are due soon as well, so that will complete the set. Runs on 0016.5 track. You can get specialist track from Pico as well for the 016.5. Got all the mechanism there. So it is a very long chassis, and I think the minimum radius is 610mm, so there isn't any set track that this will run on, apart from straight sections. So just be careful. There are streamline points that are over 600mm from the Pico range, and of course there's flexi. I think they've sort of ducked the issue of radius. The real thing wouldn't have gone around tight radiuses, and I think they've been very sensible, because you'd have to cut down the cylinders, you'd have to cut the frames, have big holes in them, and when the look of the loco is so unique, you'd end up with something that was quite compromised. So I think they've been really sensible about how they've approached this model. So here I've fitted some of the crew figures from KM1 in the cab. If we lift the roof off, there we go. Cleverly designed cab, and spacious there for the figures. I'm going to have a look at decoder fitting on the model. I've got the Lenz Next 18 10318 decoder. It's just there. Got the parts bag from the loco, and it's also worth having a look here. There is a brake hose in there. There's photo etched builder's plates and the name plates. Really nicely printed on the loco, but if you want the relief versions, then they're in the parts bag. I would use a low impact non-solvent glue, so something like just builder's PVA, tiny amount on that to affix them. They don't need to bear any load, and that way you won't be damaging the paintwork on the model. And if you do get any overspill, just quickly get it off with some water. So back to the decoder fitting. We've got on the front, you've got this little tool to pop out the smoke box door. Be careful here, they are wired on because of the headlamp. And then inside there is a circuit board which has got a hole in it, which we will try and locate with the tool. Again, I would do this two-handedly, I wouldn't try it with a camera in the other hand. Let's get in there. There we go, it's actually quite easy. There is a speaker enclosure with a speaker inside it. For those that want to sound fit the loco, the Lenz one is an on-sound chip. Got the Next 18 blanking plate, so just put that in the parts bag for later. And Next 18 chip, doing this one-handed, shows probably how easy it is, but not sensible really. So that's the chip in. Cartridge locates, there's two runners. Let me just locate those, sorry, and it pushes back in. Make sure it's pushed all the way home. And the door just pops back on over it. So really easy DCC fitting. Okay, so the loco's now on track. We've got obviously control over the lighting now with DCC. And the firebox glow is on function 1. Automatically, I've not had to program that. It's on the output 1. So there. And I've not done any programming on the chip. You can of course increase inertias, so the acceleration and braking delay can be increased, which will give it more realistic running control. But it's not bad from the box, as it were. It's all there. If I just get it moving on speed step 1, it does go incredibly slowly, just on the edge of the gearbox, as it were, so a little bit faster it smooths out. Also, you know, the flywheel comes into effect when it's going at a little bit higher speed. So there we are. The Lenz chips are fully DCC NMRA compliant and support 4-digit addressing, Railcom and other features like that. So just a very quick note, the advertising literature sort of talked about these being adaptable to 14mm gauge from the 16.5. There's no mention of it in the loco instructions, so I think it's only fair to say that I don't see how that can be done. Yes, the actual chassis itself has got clearance, but I suspect that it's going to be quite involved, and I really wouldn't want to disturb the quartering on the wheels. So I think we will say that that feature has been quietly dropped.